Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot, oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only, Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker, and I am here. How about that? I almost didn't make it because we had a new phone service installed today, and they managed to disconnect my entire internet. But here I am.
God.
My
I've
God,
been nervous as the devil over here trying to figure out what the heck's going on.
That's what was going on. So anyways, we've got a great show tonight. We have one of our very favorite people in the whole wide universe. Lon Milo DuQuette will be joining us shortly. And first,
Good.
PK, welcome. And we've been
now
talking.
that I sweated it off, I know I lost 20 pounds with this panic I went through.
Well, me too. I was like, why am I not? I knew that Lon had called in. I know you had called in. And for some reason, this board was not lighting up. So now I know why. So anyway, fixed at the last second. Praise God and Goddess. Here we are. So tell us, PK, what's going on? Yeah. Here we are in August. What's happening?
Mm-hmm. Well, the fun part about what's going on has to do with the fact that we all need to really start doing some deep breathing. We're holding everything inside, and everyone is very uptight, and nothing is going quite the way we want it. It all has a lot to do with work, rework, redo, but building a strong foundation. Think in terms of the things that were the pain in the where you sit last year. That's what this month is all about. We're getting to review it, redo it, but it's giving us a lot of issues that we hadn't quite counted on, because between weather from one end of the country to the other, I should say one end of the world to the other, everything is out of whack. It deals with details of things, but the need to build a stronger foundation. Health and healing and doing alternative ways of taking care of it are extremely important. No shortcuts this month. It's very important that you follow through with the things that you know are the most important for you. Hold tight. It's kind of like being on a ship that's in a terrible sea storm. Hang on to the rail so you don't go overboard. What we're trying to do is make it through this one. Next month will seem a lot nicer and a lot better. But this one, bare bones, nose to the grindstone. Don't know if that sounds good. All we've got.
That's all we've got is right. Oh, my goodness me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's been an exciting time, I have to say. So much is happening. And everybody I talk to keeps saying the same thing, that time seems to be moving so quickly. And it used to be just older people like us would think that way, like, gosh, time is moving so fast. But even the young people I talk to are feeling the same way. So it's just whooshing by. I mean, a day to me feels like 10 minutes has gone by.
Well, there's just so much going on that you're trying to stop the negative, hang on to the positive, and go forward. That's why I said it's like being on a bad ship at sea. All you can do is hang on to the side and pray to God you don't get thrown overboard.
Yeah, really. I remember a pilot that I met who said every time you hit a storm, you're told to do the same thing. Keep your wings steady. That's the way to get through it. So that's what we have to do. Oh, my goodness. So tonight, as you know,
wings.
keep your angel wings steady. We have a great guest, and we love Lon Milo DuQuette. He is amazing. He has written so many books, I can't even count them all. He's known as a singer, a songwriter, a recording artist, a humorist. He's also the author of, now it said in his last bio, 19 critically acclaimed books. I think it's more than that. And translated into 12 languages on magic and the occult. The critics have called Lon one of the most respected and entertaining writers and lecturers in the field of the Western mystery tradition. Since 1975, Lon has been a national and international governing officer of Ordo Templi Orientis, one of the most influential magical societies of the 20th and 21st centuries. So we're going to have to ask him if he's still the Grand Master. I know he was. We're going to find out if he still is. He is internationally recognized authority on tarot, ceremonial magic, and esoteric Freemasonry. Now, although he takes these subjects very seriously, he tries not to take himself too seriously. And this rare combination of scholarship and humor has earned him, in the last 30 years, a unique and respected position in American spiritual and esoteric literature. Now, Lon appears occasionally on television and radio as a guest expert, like on our radio show, on subjects involving the occult. And he is also a contributor to the Magickal Egypt DVD series, which is tremendous, and a host on the new series, The Great Work. And he's a faculty member of the Omega Institute in Reinbeck, New York, and Robert Anton Wilson's Maybe Logic Academy. He lives in Costa Mesa, California, with his beautiful wife of 52 years, Constance, who's amazing also. So, Lon, welcome to the show. Oops, I guess I should give him a mic, huh? Hi, Lon.
Hi. Thanks for having me back again. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's so great to have you back. You might want to talk a little bit louder, or if you're on a headset, just bring the mic a little closer to your mouth. We didn't get a chance to sound check you because of my internet disaster, so we'll work with...
Well, this is about as close as I get.
Okay, that's going to work.
Okay. Well, I don't live in Costa Mesa, California anymore.
I heard you moved. Now, where have you gone to?
Oh, just like last week, we moved to Sacramento, California.
Wow.
And
what a big change.
I know after 53 years in Costa Mesa, it's a traumatic change.
Really? I bet. You had a beautiful, beautiful place there.
Yes. Don't rub it in.
Oh, I'm sorry. But I can only imagine.
We've got a beautiful place here, too.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Oh, yeah, that's a huge change. Oh, my goodness.
I love the Costa Mesa area.
Yes, it just got too expensive for us, and it was time for a change. We've got a lot of friends up here in Sacramento, and it seems like a place for us old folks to.
I represent that, Lon.
To settle in here a little, but we'll see. As you can imagine, the move was, difficult, and unpacking is difficult, and when you contacted me about the interview, I said, "Oh well, at least for a little while, I could stop thinking about the trauma of this move and have fun talking with Patricia." So.
Oh,
thank you for this intermission.
Means he
well,
doesn't
the
have
two
to
Patricias here.
Too.
Yeah, we're happy to give you a break from that. And I'll tell you something. When we moved here, in where we live now in Massachusetts, I told my husband, I said, the next time I move, it's going to be in a box myself, because I'm not moving again. It's just too much. So. That was my retort to any further entertainment of moving.
Let's hope that's many, many, many centuries in the future.
I hope so. I really do. Well, we are here with you tonight to talk about a fascinating topic. You're actually going to be giving a workshop on this, Invocation. So this sounds extremely important. So we're very happy to have you here to explain this to us and to our audience, why this is so important, how the dynamics of this work. We can't wait to hear about all this.
Well, it's my kind of my first project, public workshop, live workshop that I've scheduled since the move here. You can imagine I was very busy, packing and moving and such, and so this is sort of my maiden presentation from my new venue here. Invocation. Okay, now you know that I consider myself a ceremonial magician. Okay, it's magic is it's not illusionary magic. Prestidigitation and rabbits out of a hat kind of magic. It's magic with connected to magi or magi. It's a spiritual art form, a spiritual practice, and that ceremonial magic is we perform ceremonial magic every day in our lives. Just anything that we accomplish, that's our will to accomplish, we facilitate by the use of magic in its most generic terms. But it's actually an art form in the same way that Zen is an spiritual art form, and other spiritual practices are art forms in a way. Everybody, every religion, every spiritual practice and discipline is technically, generically, a form of ceremonial magic. And we see a most obvious version of this generic ceremonial magic in the beautiful rituals of the Roman Catholic Church and the Orthodox Christian churches, the manipulation, the blessing of the elements of the Eucharist and things like that, the sensing of the temple and all of that. Those are all overt ceremonial magic gestures, and so we could probably and I do sort of try to explain all of this to people sitting next to me on the airplane.
I had a seat next to you.
Yes, they make a big mistake to say, "Oh, what's that about?" Because if they're not lucky, I'll tell them. But in a sense, it's a dramatic enactment of psychological things. Modern magicians don't have the same objective view of angels and spirits and archangels and things like that. Modern magicians don't view them as objective spiritual beings living on clouds somewhere or under the earth in infernal realms or anything like that. but they see it rather in terms of the entire magical cosmos is inside ourselves. And they look at it Kabbalistically. When the Kabbalists or the esoteric practices of Judaism and Christianity, when they say that we're made in the image of God, they're actually suggesting that we're the image, an accurate image of the Supreme Consciousness itself. We're just asleep to the fact. So the idea that, in a sense, the entire universe, the entire outside world is, in a sense, inside ourselves, because we are that perfect reflection. Right. In the same way that a shard of a holographic lens contains the entire picture, only viewed from a specific angle. So the idea that when we're working with angels and spirits and archangels and different divine names and things like that, they're all drawn from classic Kabbalistic magical sources, that we have no illusions that these are objective things living on clouds and under the earth, but they're actually components within ourselves that we've yet to recognize, we've yet to contact, we've yet to master and redirect. And so the idea of ceremonial magic is to use outward tools like robes and incense and wands and swords and cups and discs and things like that, using outward instruments and a formula of actions, a formula of working, whereby we connect with those internal powers that we have within us, and then set to work to gain a certain amount of mastery over our own spiritual unfoldment that way. In a way, it's kind of the opposite to the way the Eastern mystic goes about things. The Eastern mystic, goes inside and quiets everything down, okay, and does all of this internally. The magician accesses that internal stuff in a dramatic way outside of himself or herself. If that is making any sense to you, I'd really be surprised. Oh, yeah. Okay.
It really does make sense. It really does. And so we're calling upon these parts of ourselves and to manifest and to do whatever else we want it to do. And it does make tremendous sense to me, and I love the way you just explained it. So the invocation...
The thing is, the thing is, for the duration of the ceremony, the magician treats these internal things as if they were outward things. Okay, for the duration of the ceremony, the magician buys in to the concept that they are outside of himself or herself. But in the cold light of day, when the magician is writing in their diary, they have no illusions that everything they were doing all was an internal process. Does that sort of explain the difference between the medieval magician and the modern magician?
Yeah, I think so. PK, do you have questions about this?
Not at the moment, but I'm very intently listening.
Yeah, this is fascinating, and it's also used. What you're saying is the invocation isn't just for magical practice; it's also for people who meditate. Correct?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, proper meditation includes the component of invocation. Well, look, classic magic ceremonies start off with a series of actions that get you into that headspace. Okay, it starts with the banishings and purifications. Okay, and even before that, the magician sort of announces to the cosmos who they are and what they want to achieve, or what is their will to achieve with this particular magical ceremony. And so that section of the ceremony at the very beginning is called the oath. You say, "Hi, I'm Lon DuQuette, and these are all my magical credentials. Hear me, everybody out there. Here I am." Okay, and you give your magical credentials and everything else. And you can make up anything. You can say that I, Lon Milo DuQuette, am a confirmed Methodist and second-class member of the Boy Scouts of America, and full initiate of the Order of Templi, and charter member of the National Skateboarding Champions, and former rabid student of the Lee Strasberg Actors Studio, and then just go, and then you can really start rattling off, you state who you are to pump yourself up to, I've got the right to do this, Yeah. And then following up on that, the next little order of business is a confession. Okay, and so you state your purpose. I'm all of these things, and Knight Monk Initiate of the Sovereign Sanctuary of the Gnosis of Ordo Templi Orientis. And then you say, like, in the presence of the Lord of the universe, I do hereby and hereon most solemnly promise and swear that I will conduct this ceremony to achieve such and such an end. Now, you kind of see where we're going with this?
Yeah.
Okay, but then you do it. Then you do a confession in a way, and you go, all of those things. I was really lousy Boy Scout, and I only joined the Templi because my girlfriend was a Job's daughter, and so you show that other side of yourself, okay? Yeah. So even though I'm all of that, you can't get at me because I also know my flaws. I also know my shortcomings. I also know all of that. And then after you do that, you say, but be that as it may. Okay, I am who I am, and I am what I am, and there's no one on earth or on dry land or in the water of whirling air or of rushing fire, in the highest heavens or the lowest hell, who is like unto me, and then you really pump yourself back up again, and you get yourself established, and behold, all you stiff-necked, dog-faced demons, and with your groveling minions, all fall down before the light of Lon Milo DuQuette. So that's sort of that's right. That's sort of the magicians tricking themselves into starting to become a magician. And then after that, with that self-affirmation, you banish the temple, and then you purify, and there's ceremonies of banishing, okay? And that sort of opens up the space in the same way that you vacuum the living room floor before you invite guests in, okay? Mm-hmm. And then after that, you purify the temple with water in all the quarters. And as you're doing this, in a sense, you're purifying yourself. And then you consecrate the temple area, and that's done with fire. And you take a candle or a wand, which is the fire instrument, and go all around, casting a classic pagan type circle, and consecrate the temple and yourself with fire. Then perhaps you cense the temple with incense and everything else. And now the nice clean you is in your nice clean temple, and it's completely banished all of the other forces in the planetary and elemental influences are for a moment held at bay on the perimeter of your circle. And then the next part of the ceremony is the invocation.
Ah, that's when it comes
in.
Okay. And
that's what my talk on Wednesday the 25th is going to be about. And it's going to be a little workshop because there's actual sort of interaction with the listeners, the audience. And so the invocation.
Well, before you go on for that, Lon, how can people sign up for this? Where can they find you to sign up?
Good idea.
The best way, and I'm not sure when this is going to be broadcast, but the best way at this point is to email me at Lon Milo, that's one word, Lon Milo, at gmail.com. And that's the fastest way, and just put, invocation workshop in the subject line, and I'll send the registration link. Or
That's
they can
great.
Go to my Facebook.
Because
they can go to my Facebook page.
I saw when you announced it on Facebook that you'd be doing this, that you had a tremendous response right away. There were a lot of people that were very interested in this workshop. Now, do you know how long it's going to be? Are we talking about a couple hours, an afternoon, an evening?
No, we're talking about over an hour, but probably less than 90 minutes.
Okay, that's good for people to know. So it's a fair commitment of time, but not overwhelming. So that's really great. And I know I've done a couple of your workshops before.
Overwhelmed.
Super.
Also, if you're in the part of the world that it's either too late at night or early in the morning or something like that, everybody who registers will also, when it's over, will also receive the link to the replay. Then they can replay it as many times and view it as many times as they want.
Oh, that's great. Well, I know I've taken a few of your workshops, and I've loved every one of them. They've been amazing. And one that wasn't a workshop, but it was actually a reading when you read all of the Enochian calls. And it was, I believe, was it a New Year's Eve thing that you did a while back? That was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I was high for a month after that. Yeah, I was reeling after that.
That was so amazing. I mean, it just, you could feel it, just the tingling everywhere from the Enochian language that you spoke that time. It was great. So I want to encourage everybody who's interested in this, whether you practice magic or you just do meditation, this is something important that you can learn from the master. So I'm going to sign up. I'm really interested in this. This is great.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Now I'll be nervous.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. So tell us more about the progression. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I wanted everybody to know how to sign up for this. So the invocation, you said, comes next. So is that kind of in the middle of everything, would you say?
No, you really aren't a magician yet until you've invoked. Okay? Now, you said you're ready to be a magician with your oath and your confession and everything else, but a magician is especially for this kind of magic, a magician is acting as a Solomon. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The person you are at the very beginning that walks into the temple and starts all of this stuff, the you that you think is you is not the you that can do the magic. The magic is done by God.
Okay.
Okay. There's very little you can do unless you are the conduit of the supreme consciousness of the universe. And the person of the story of Solomon, King Solomon, is the archetypal magician, and the story of Solomon is the basic structure that makes magic work, and it makes the person a magician, because it's the Solomon that is the conduit to the supreme, to the almighty, to the omnipotent, the omniscient singularity of the universe. Because there's very little that Lon Milo DuQuette can do. Okay, Lon Milo DuQuette can only actually work magic if Lon Milo DuQuette is the pure conduit of the source of all energy, all power of the universe. You can only bamboozle the spirits for a short time before they figure out you're not that conduit. Okay.
And then what? Once you're exposed.
Yes, and then you've had it, and sort of that's the source of all the Faustian stories about the spirits having control over you instead of you over the spirits.
Okay.
So the invocation is that part of every ceremony where you become that conduit, where you actually become the reflection of the supreme consciousness of the universe. And it's that working through you that makes you a Solomon, and that gives you the ability to then manipulate, to order about, to reorder, to organize, to direct, to focus all of the lesser energies of the world around you. And that is portrayed in the Solomon story like this. Are you ready for one of Lon's? Are you ready for one of Lon's Bible stories?
We are ready.
Okay. In the Bible story. Now please don't think you're obliged to believe this as history. This is mythology history, which is even truer than history. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have to argue whether there ever was a flesh and blood Solomon or ever was. We don't even have to have that argument. The story is bigger than anything history could tell us, okay?
Wow. Okay.
So the story is King David, Solomon's father, really had a nice connection with God, the singularity, but at least for a while. But he was kind of a big backslider, okay? And also he was such a violent guy. He was a warrior guy. That's what he was good at. That according to the story anyway, for a while he was flying high and really connected with deity, God said, you should actually build me a house, which is a miniature working model of the cosmos. And it needs to be so perfect that that it vibrates with the same vibration as the cosmos itself. So if you imagine that existence is held together by a giant tuning fork, vibrating a giant, huge cosmic note, an A note. Okay, and if you could build a perfect little tuning fork that was exactly the same proportion and exactly the same weight and exactly the same shape and everything else as the giant one, it would sympathetically vibrate with that same note. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So the temple of the temple that deity wanted David to build would be so perfectly proportioned that it would vibrate with the giant master vibration of existence itself. And thereby, the presence of God would dwell in that little tuning fork in the same way and vibrate in the same way as the giant tuning fork does. So that's the machine that deity wanted David to build.
Wow.
I think that's just awesome. Okay, I'm sorry, the whole idea of it just gives me chills.
Incredible.
Okay?
Yeah.
But anyway, David just kind of blew it one way or another. I mean, he blew it worse than Mario or of Governor Como. Okay, and
that's really blowing it.
And he blew it even worse than that,
That's
so anyway, and he died. Okay.
Oh.
And Solomon was only one of his sons, and he was just kind of a dandy. He was raised in the harem, and he was just sort. Yeah, he was just. He wasn't, especially king material because he wrote poetry and stuff like that. And but anyway, the politics being what they were, he did become king. And when he became king, he realized that his father had not fulfilled that promise to build that miniature tuning fork. His father had not built that temple whereby God could indwell on the physical plane. And so he said to himself, "Oh, geez, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to even, build a kitchen table, let alone a miniature working model of the cosmos." So what the story says is in sort of a profound, transcendent laziness, said, I don't have the knowledge or the insight or the intuition to hire a bunch of contractors to do this. I could pay people to, building contractors and stuff, but they won't know how to do this. The only entity that knows how to build this is God itself.
That makes
and
sense.
So Solomon, in his profound laziness, which I totally understand and identify with. did what he had to do in meditation to enter into the presence of God. Okay? Now, there's the key right there. And he wasn't a big mystic or anything else like that. He just knew that's what he had to do. And knowing that, he entered into the presence of God. And God was surprised to see anybody enter into their presence, okay, or enter into its presence. He almost looked up and said, "Whoa, nobody's ever done that before." You know, they send up lots of prayers and stuff that they want and everything else, but nobody actually came to me, you know.
Yeah.
So God was impressed, and Solomon just said, "Look, I don't have what it takes to build this temple for you. You're the only one that really knows how to do this. You know, I'm not going to ask you for building contractors. I'm not going to ask you for cedars of Lebanon. I'm not going to ask you for gold or jewels to adorn this thing. I'm not going to even ask you for an architect or drawings or plumbing. I just want the wisdom to know what to do. And only you can give me that wisdom. I'm here, I'm in your face, and that's all I want. I don't want gold, I want jewels, I don't want anything." And according to the story, and remember the story is setting the format to all Solomonic magic of medieval times right up to modern times. God, according to the story, was so impressed. Says, "Wow, that nobody's ever asked me that before." Yeah, okay. Okay, you got the wisdom, kid, because you had the wisdom to get here. You already got it. You're okay. Not only that, but everything else you need, I'm going to just throw it in for the bargain. And one of those things he threw in for the bargain was the ability to conjure and control what in other less plugged in hands would be destructive spirits, technically evil spirits. Now, these evil spirits are only evil when they're uncontrolled and undirected. Technically, the evil spirits, the blind forces of the universe, do all the heavy lifting in the universe already. They're not only the construction crew that builds everything up, they're the wrecking crew that tears everything down. And unless they're directed, they create and destroy. It's not their fault. They just have no foreman to tell them what the heck to do.
Huh.
And so Solomon was given the key. That's why you always hear about the key of Solomon. He was given the key to make these wild and crazy roughneck crew of formerly evil, destructive spirits, and give them good union jobs and put them to work for constructive purposes. And so it was the evil spirits that took a break from being destructive and started to be constructive. And it's those spirits that actually did the heavy lifting of building and adorning the temple of God, the miniature working model of the cosmos. And because they dutifully fell into cooperation with the will of deity itself through the conduit of Solomon, they in turn became redeemed themselves and raised in spiritual status. Now, we could probably view that as the demons being transformed into angels, if you wanted to, cast moral aspersions, to everything. But that is the Solomonic myth. Okay. Now that Solomonic myth is repeated in Freemasonry. Okay. Mm-hmm. In the myth of Freemasonry, and that's why Freemasonry reveres the Solomon story and puts a little twist on it themselves that's not particularly biblical, but it is totally magical. But that's another workshop. Okay. This workshop is about that invocation part of the ceremony, where you enter into the presence of God. Because if the magician doesn't have that part of the ceremony right, then the magician isn't a magician yet. And that's why it's so important. It's the keystone of an arch. And the entire structure of every magical ceremony is just going to come tumbling down if that keystone is removed or if it's too anemic, to hold all the other stones together. So that's why it is so important. And that's the subject of my talk, the importance of magical invocation.
Well, this is very, very exciting information that they're going to be giving out. And even so far, just listening to you talk about the myth of Solomon and how this came to be, it's so important. These are very important. Every detail of that story has a level of importance to it. Like the fact that he knew he was just a schlemiel, and yet here he knew enough to show up in God's presence, and it was the only way this was going to work.
So that's that, and there's, I go through all of this, and I give, when I was a kid, I was raised in Nebraska, okay?
Oh, God help you.
And I spent 10 years in Nebraska, but it seemed like 400 years.
Oh my God.
But that's where I was. That's where I grew up, and we were Methodist, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I didn't mind it because we sang a lot. And,
well, that's good.
I was in the choir and things like that. But in Nebraska in the late 1950s and such, every school convocation, every public barbecue or fish fry, every civic meeting was opened with an invocation. Every high school football game or baseball game or mostly football in Nebraska. I'm not sure that they were into baseball in my community. But they all opened with an invocation. Okay?
That's amazing.
Reverend Johnson is now going to deliver the invocation.
Oh.
So, okay, let's all stand up, And so everyone in the stadium stands up, and for a minute they take off their hats and somebody gets up over the loudspeaker and says something like, Heavenly Father, we ask you to look down upon this athletic field of combat and spread your blessing upon these our proud screaming eagles as they battle for victory in stuff like that.
Wow.
That's what invocation used to mean to me. I go, what? Why? That's pretty lame, And then years and years later, excuse me, I'm going to grab I'm getting so excited. I'm going to have a drink of water. Then later on in the when I got involved in like Golden Dawn, formal classic ceremonial magic, it wasn't much better than that. Okay, during the invocation, I mean, it was so wordy. Oh, thou almighty, holy, thou art so big, you're huge, and it rattles on and on and on and on. In a sense, try to influence deity to somehow be present and bless the ceremony. But it really wasn't that much better in my mind as those screaming eagles football game thing. Okay,
right.
To me that that wasn't entering into the presence of God or having God enter in the presence of you. Okay,
yeah.
And so it was many years later when it would really dawn on me how important this particular component of every magical ritual is, and how truly, profoundly, awesomely simple the process really can be and is. And so when that shoe dropped, when that dawned on me, I could see a very simple thing that anyone, absolutely anyone, no matter what their spiritual worldview, no matter what their deities are, no matter what their either agnostic, atheist, or highly religious point of view, how everyone can hit that sweet spot and then continue to try to influence the world around them to facilitate their own awakenings, to facilitate their own enlightenment, to facilitate their own spiritual evolution. And in a sense, this is the subject of the importance of invocation, and that's why I'm so excited about it, actually. So.
Yeah, it sounds exciting. I plan on being there. I think this is a really important thing to participate in if you're at all interested in meditation, successful meditation, and magical practice. So it's your life has been so interesting, Lon. All of the amazing books you've written. You know my favorite, My Life with the Spirits. It's just been one magical adventure after another. But I have to ask you if you would share the story about the time you were invited to present, and I don't know exactly what it was. I'm trying to remember. It was something very special where you were taken to a place, but they wouldn't let you see where you were going. And it was the library, you said, was like a Harry Potter library, for real.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I was I was lecturing in New York City. This is years ago. This is at least 20 years ago, maybe longer. And I was lecturing, I think, on Enochian magic, yes. And it was in a very cool venue, kind of an amphitheater type thing. And afterwards, a guy came up to me and called me Brother DuQuette, and said that he was a Freemason, and he knew that I was a Freemason. And he asked if I'd be interested in presenting for a group of esoteric Freemasons sometime. And me, I'm a shameless guy. I go, sure, will you feed me, and he says, well, we'll be in touch. Well, it was a year. Masonry is a wonderful, wonderful organization. Actually, it's hundreds of organizations. Okay, but esoteric Masons are truly esoteric. Okay, people think Masonry is this big secret organization that they rule the world and stuff like that. But really, most of Masonry is very, very public and very innocuous, and harmless. And most Masons on the planet don't know or care anything about esoteric things. Okay, that's just the case. And it's such a big tent that they needn't. Okay, but some Masons really are in tune with the heart, the soul of Masonry, the esoteric part of Masonry, the part that under certain circumstances you could even call the magical part of Masonry. But because there are so many Masons that think that so many Masons that may be superstitious and think that is going to give them a bad reputation if it gets out that some Masons, are praying, or invoking,
Mm-hmm.
So there's an aspect of Freemasonry that really is a secret society, just like it was in the old days. And so this is one of those things, okay? And eventually they contacted me again, and they wanted to see if I would be the keynote speaker at their next kind of major meeting. And it was held in one of the most stunningly beautiful old Masonic complexes and edifices in the country. And it doesn't, and I'm not gonna even tell you where, okay? Because it's all sort of under the table kind of thing.
Right.
So I flew to a nearby city, and where friends picked me up and drove me, 30, 40 miles to this place. And it was late in the day, and the place was so big. It's almost like the Capitol building. As a matter of fact, it was the Capitol building of the state that this was in for about 6 months. And there's just no front door to the place, okay? Or there is, but you don't know how to get in. It looks like the Parthenon. And
goodness.
So we were driving around. I said, how the heck do I get into this place? and I see a delivery guy drive up to like a almost an underground garage door entry into the bowels of the thing, and before the door closes behind him, you know, I creep in there with my suitcase, and when the door closed, it was absolutely pitch black. Okay?
Oh no!
and so I just kept walking in the dark, and eventually I saw a little light coming from the right, toward the end of this darkness. And when I got to that, I could see it was like a cafeteria type place, but it was light, and so I started to look around for an elevator or steps or something.
Yeah.
And I walked past this huge area with about 20 pool and billiard tables. And I go, what is this place? And I finally found some steps, and I went upstairs to the ground level, which was just all marble, and a huge 3-story atrium.
Wow!
With a skylight of stained glass.
Oh my
and
God.
Columns and pillars on either side, and statues of the 4 courage, what do they call it? The graces or something. And right in the middle was a statue of a goddess with her finger pointed to her lips. And and standing in front of that statue that's hushing me, I said, "Hey, is anybody here?" and it echoes through this huge temple, and so I go up 2 more flights of stairs to this whole other second floor area that rings this atrium area down below, and there's smaller temples. There's a Babylonian temple with this beautiful Babylonian sphinx against the wall, and hanging lamps, charcoal lamps. They didn't serve as that, and then there was a blue temple and a like a Egyptian motif thing, or Assyrian, and one of the rooms opened up into this huge, like Harry Potter library, and I was walking around all by myself, dragging my suitcase over those marble floors, and down somewhere I hear people talking. And so I walk around those areas to where the talking gets louder, and I enter into like the back of a balcony area that looks down on a full-blown Egyptian temple.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my God!
Decorated with motifs of Hathor and winged solar discs, and there they are meeting. Okay, and there's I recognize a couple luminaries of Masonic esotericism. and one of them is speaking to the gathering there. There's about 24 people. And
2,000. Wow.
No, 24.
Oh, 24.
No,
okay.
It's just a really small group.
Yeah.
And then from the balcony area, I said, "Hello, how do I get down there?" And everybody looks up and says, "Oh, Lon, you're here," you know. So even walking into the building was a full-blown initiation. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make, okay?
Yeah.
And everything in your life, when you view things magically, everything in your life is a magical act. Everything in your life is an initiation, if only you see it as such.
Uh-huh. Gosh.
So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh, that's a great story. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
And what an incredible experience to be in a place like that where there were so many temples. Oh, and this Egyptian one has really caught my attention. Gee.
Oh, yeah. And then later on when you hear the details of what they are, how they were constructed, how they were researched when they were originally made 120 years ago or whenever it was. It just gets more awesome as time goes by. And truly, that weekend, I mean, we stayed right there. There's plenty of, there's room for about 200 people to stay there. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, because in the old days, they would have Scottish Rite events were like a week event. You stayed there for a week. They made you write home to your wife, you know.
Wow.
And so it was just wonderful. And truly, it was everything I always fantasized Freemasonry was about.
Oh, my goodness.
So...
That's incredible. Now, this group of esoteric Freemasons, so it must be an invitation-only group. So they reach out to people like you to come and do a presentation or become a member. How do you become a member of something like that?
Well, it is by invitation, and it isn't anything official or officially sanctioned by any particular Grand Lodge or jurisdiction, and it is for the education and edification of the individual members, and it isn't something that is open-ended. It lasts for a few years and then disappears. So, but in the meantime, other things like that do occur, and I was Masonically blessed to be able to do that. And I'm telling you, this isn't false modesty. Compared to everybody else there, I was the biggest putz on the panel, okay?
I doubt that.
That's some kind of panel then.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
That's so funny. So the Most High were there.
Well, everybody presented papers, and so everyone was already an author of some repute and an expert and a scholar par excellence. And truly, I was a pretty funky guy, and I think they, but I provided a little entertainment anyway.
Oh, sure.
Just because I was so funky, yeah.
Now, are women involved in this group, or is this a men's only thing?
Well, this particular one was men's only because everybody needed to be an active member of a particular Grand Lodge or another. Okay, and especially in those years, there wasn't cross recognition of co-Masonic groups, and so it was still a men's club at the time. So,
what about now? Do women participate in Freemasonry throughout the world?
Yeah. There are particular lodges under particular Grand Lodges that to a varying degree, there's a thing called co-Masonry, which was developed during more or less by the Theosophical Society in the late 1800s, and now co-Masonry is receiving recognition and co-cooperation in a lot of jurisdictions, and in the circles that I move in, I've got lots of women Mason friends. I guess I'll say that. Because, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I've been married 52 years, and I've been studying this stuff even before I was a Mason. So my wife and I shared tons of stuff even before I was a Mason and obligated to keep all of these non-essential things secret, And so my wife knows as much as I do about Masonry, and she kept saying, "Why would any woman want to do that?" With these old guys, I don't want to be a Mason's lady, I'm the reason.
Constance
she
is
said
great.
The reason that there aren't more women Masons is because she didn't think. Why would anyone want to do that? But actually, it is very rewarding and very. It's stupid that that there isn't complete that it isn't. Who cares, and so and it's getting that way. Classic old Orthodox Masonry was segregated too, and that's no longer the case, and that was so stupid too.
Yeah.
So, but Masonry is so old that it changes very slowly. But I've seen it change dramatically just in the 25 years or whatever it is that I've been in the craft, and of course my other Masonic type groups, the OTO, has just as many or more women in leadership roles than men. So
that's interesting.
That was Crowley's whole thing with the OTO. That's why at the beginning of the 20th century, the OTO split with European Grand Lodge Masonry because Crowley just flat out said, "No, we got to have women. It's half the population. It's half the magic, for heaven's sakes." And but they wouldn't go for it, so Crowley says, "Okay, then the OTO is going to stop making Masons, and we're going to do our own thing because got to have women." So
yeah. Oh my goodness, how fascinating! Now, let's go back to that Egyptian temple that you saw. I mean, that must have been quite something, standing in the presence of those statuaries and knowing what they all were about, knowing what they meant.
Not only that, but they were painted with the same formula that the original paint of the original temples of late dynastic Egypt used to adorn the temples. Every so many inches of the paint had to be redone using egg whites.
Wow.
Living egg whites to hold the color and if nothing else, Masons do their homework about all things architectural.
Wow, I guess so.
And the sacred geometry that is exhibited in all of these different areas, even the lecture rooms and the smaller side temples and the atrium and even the auditorium, the sacred geometry displayed there makes you start to feel that you're reorganizing your bodily temple in a sacred way. Okay. Huh. So remember what I was saying about the Temple of Solomon being a miniature working model of the cosmos?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, the principles of sacred geometry are echoes of the miniature working model of the cosmos. Things, proportions based on vesica piscis or pisci or whatever you want to call it. Okay, sacred geometry that's all vibrating with those same little cul-de-sacs of perfection. And as you walk through it, as you live through it, as you sleep in those perfect proportions, you can feel your own psychic body trying to readjust itself to that same frequency of perfection. And so it has an immediate response to your own consciousness. And in the same way that when you walk into a great cathedral in Europe, you just go, oh my God, I'm in a piece of heaven.
Right.
Because you are.
Yeah. Right. How fascinating. So in ancient Egypt, that's what these temples were for. That was their purpose.
Well, yes. They ring a bell on a level of space-time that your own psychic body responds to.
And what about the pyramids themselves? Same thing?
I don't know.
Lon, you know everything. I ask you the hard questions.
I don't know, but my good friend Dr. John DeSalvo is a pyramid guy par excellence, and he's written a couple of books on the pyramids. But they are so old. Okay, they predate many of the sacred temple sites, and so the technology for the pyramids is so fundamentally the way they're oriented and their proportions. In a sense, they're sort of a different animal. They're separated by a couple thousand years between some of the temples that incorporate what we recognize now as sacred geometry. in Egypt. So, and I really don't know. I don't even pretend to know that. I know.
Okay.
I know my place. I know where I start. I know where my putsness begins.
That's great. Well, I mean, what an adventure to be taken to a place like that, to be invited to present at a place like that, and then find all of these beautiful works of art that have this power to them that you resonate with. My goodness, that's just amazing. Why don't we have more places like that? I mean, it just sounds so beautiful and so wonderful.
Well, it was Freemasonry was really big for a couple hundred years in the United States, and there are quite a few, and all over the world. But just sheer numbers of memberships now is minuscule compared to what it was, say, in the 1920s and at the turn of the century. Yeah, but anyway, yes, it was quite a wonderful experience. Actually, my friend Mark Stavish has written a wonderful book on Freemasonry, and he asked me to write an afterword for his book on Freemasonry, and I give a description of this wonderful temple complex in my contribution to his work. So it's a fine book on Freemasonry, and I would recommend that for anyone interested. It's just look up Mark Stavish and Google the word Freemasonry, and you'll find the book.
You know,
not only
Freemasonry
that, but
has gotten a bad rap. I don't understand why. How does that come about?
Superstition. Okay, most everything that gets a bad rap on a spiritual level is either connected with, it's misunderstood. I remember when I was a hippie that yoga seemed like a satanic plot of some kind.
Okay.
So, also, I recently Weiser published a book of mine called "Allow Me to Introduce."
Yes.
And in "Allow Me to Introduce," I have a chapter on this. Mark Stavish allowed me to reprint my afterword in "Allow Me to Introduce." So you can. But please buy Mark's book. But everybody needs to read "Allow Me to Introduce" too. For heaven's sakes, go out and buy it, please.
Yes, it's a wonderful book. I know when this first came out, we had you on the show and we talked about it. And yes, I mean, it's a wonderful book. All your books, Lon, are just tremendous, every one of them. And everybody listening should go and look up Lon Milo DuQuette on Amazon and see what books call to you, because, as I mentioned, they're all great. They're all very entertaining, because you are entertaining, Lon, and you come away with learning something totally new and having a perspective on magic that you didn't have before. So definitely check out Lon's books. Oh, my goodness. Yes. Now, do you have another one up your sleeve? I know you. You're always writing. What's coming next?
Well, next is a new edition of my book, Homemade Magick, and I'm writing the new material for a new edition of that, and the second edition of my tarot cards are again available after all these years and at a normal price. And so I've got those two things, and I'm still working on Zoom seminars but I'll have another book coming out with Wiser as soon as I formulate the title.
Oh, that's great.
I always start with the title, and then I set myself a deadline, and but anyway, I've been so crazy with this move that I'm surprised that I could throw together my Zoom seminar and the new material for the homemade magic. I'm really surprised I'm doing this well.
Really? Me too. Good for you.
Yeah.
No, this is not easy. Moving at any time of life, it is not easy. But yeah, you have a long history in Costa Mesa. So, gosh, but look at all the wonderful things you're doing now. And this invocation workshop, you're going to accept emails from people who are interested. So they should email you at Lon Milo, Milo, @gmail.com, right?
Yeah, and Lon Milo is just one word, all lowercase, at gmail.com, and I'll send them the link to the registration.
Okay,
Great.
And you also have a Facebook page, so people can reach you there.
All my crazy things are on Facebook. So yeah, I'm just a Facebook. I don't know what to call me, but that's the equivalent. That's the equivalent of my blog and my journal and my confession and my it's my soapbox. So I've got everything of my shameless self-promotion on my Facebook page.
And is that just under your name, Lon? I'm trying to remember. Is it just under Lon Milo DuQuette?
Lon Milo DuQuette, yeah.
Okay. So that's where you can find this amazing, amazing gentleman on Facebook, and also email him if you're interested in the invocation workshop. I'm definitely going to sign up for that. I'm very excited about it and really appreciate the way you explained everything to us tonight. Very helpful, very insightful, and as always, very entertaining.
Always.
Oh, well, thank you guys for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
It's great having you on, Lon. And please say hi to Constance for us, lovely lady. And we are looking forward to having you back. So whenever you'd like to come back, talk about anything you want to talk about, whether it's a new book or the revisions or the additions to Homemade Magic, you just let us know. We'd love to have you back.
I sure will.
Okay.
I sure will.
Well, this has been great. Lon, thanks again. And everybody will be back next week with another great show. And until then, we'll see you on the Blue Highway. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with Supernatural.